Catherine Zeta-Jones has cemented her legacy as the new Morticia Addams of the current generation, and rightfully so. Beautiful, strong-willed, and darkly romantic, just like her previous counterparts. She embodied the soft romantic aesthetic that many up-and-coming influencers can only dream of achieving. But there's more to the vixen than what meets the eye, and she's got a lot of surprises to reveal. Without further ado, let's dive into it. First off, Catherine Zeta-Jones talks about a surprising role that she couldn't bag. She appeared in a lot of movies, but you might know her from Ocean's 12, where she played the girlfriend of Brad Pitt's character Rusty Ryan. She was absolutely stunning, and her character was just as enjoyable to watch, so it's no surprise that we'll be seeing more of her soon enough. Her career had seen some ups and downs, a small break, and some other setbacks until her role on Wednesday. The show's plummeted her popularity to the nines ever since, and we're hoping it'll be a great boost to her already stellar career. What might really surprise you, though, is that she auditioned for the role of the famous Agent 007. "I would have loved to play Bond," she told The Sun. In fact, Zeta-Jones is a huge Bond fanatic. She probably would have made a fantastic female Bond, but Zeta-Jones added that she believes the time has passed. The actress had a wonderful friendship with the first ever James Bond actor, the late Sean Connery, which only fueled her love for the franchise. Things were rough for Zeta-Jones at a point in time during her career when Connery played an immense role in her well-being. After receiving a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, Zeta-Jones took the best course of action for herself to pull away from the limelight to focus on herself and her family. Zeta-Jones getting to play the role of Bond would have been a great tribute to the late Sean Connery on her part, given how close the two were. She remembers him fondly as someone who wasn't only a friend, but a father figure and a support system. Up next, the regret of missing out on the female Bond role isn't hers to bear alone. If anything's going to convince us that she would have made a great Bond, apart from her role in Ocean's 12, is the fact that Sean Connery personally backed her up as a replacement for himself. The two worked together in 1999 in Entrapment and bonded over their love for all things action and adventure. Unfortunately for Zeta-Jones, Barbara Broccoli never budged on her view that Bond should always be a man. Let's save the eye rolls, because if we're being honest, should we ever get a female spy the likes of Bond, then she better be absolutely original with her own story and character profile. While Zeta-Jones has long passed up the dream of playing the famous spy due to age, there's no knowing where her reignited fame will take her this time. Who knows, things could work out in her favor. After all, the Bond we know today isn't exactly of the youngest bunch either. Zeta-Jones isn't complaining much though, and she's extremely happy about the role of Morticia Addams and getting to be a part of Wednesday. "It's more than pop culture," she says about the Addams family, and we agree that it's truly something to be part of such an iconic franchise, and that too with a world-famous director to boot. You have to admit, Tim Burton's got a really good eye when it comes to casting his characters for the perfect dose of macabre. Zeta-Jones is truly the perfect stem of thorns in a bed of roses, if you get what we mean. Now for it, the pressure of stepping up to the role of the new Morticia Addams. Zeta-Jones was well aware of her predecessors when it came to the role, but what's admirable is how cool she was about not following the expectations that fans initially had of her. Putting her own twist on the character while remaining true to the essence of Morticia Addams was a challenge she was more than ready to take on. And frankly speaking, it was about time. The story we have for the Netflix hit spin-off definitely required some new aspects to everyone's personas if things were going to fit well with each other. Zeta-Jones threw away the preconceived notions of the Halloween caricature attached to Morticia Addams, reclaiming the character with a heavy emphasis on the identity of a mother who's full of love, understanding, and compassion in the face of teenage rebellion. Perhaps the best part about her character is how the love she has for Gomez becomes an extension of the love she has for Wednesday, instead of remaining isolated within the married couple. The romantic aura was particularly notable when they were in Principal Weems' office during Wednesday's middle-of-the-year admission. Despite the passive-aggressive nature of Weems and Wednesday's own natural disposition of being aloof and snarky, she sparkled with no hint of being fazed by either. We love to see an emotionally secure queen. Of course, all this couldn't have happened without the talent backstage, especially without the help of costume designer Colleen Atwood. The two worked together for Zeta-Jones' role in 2002's Chicago, and the women worked closely with Tim Burton to create the perfect visual image for the new Morticia Addams. Adams. Coming up, what drew Zeta-Jones to the show and the role of Morticia Addams. With a great 2022 to put behind her, Zeta-Jones scored another great role with director Jerry Bruckheimer as the villain in his project National Treasure: Edge of History. Seeing a pattern here, Collider's Carrie Nemerov had a fantastic interview with Zeta-Jones about what she looks for in the roles she takes up, because she's definitely got a knack for the darker side of things. Zeta-Jones talks about how her wishful thinking of working with Tim Burton manifested seemingly out of thin air. So she was even more surprised when her loud musings for being in a Jerry Bruckheimer movie came true as well. She revealed that she would have done anything to work with Tim Burton. So when the door was knocked on, she jumped right into the opportunity without even knowing what the project was about. "If you asked me to read the telephone book, I would do it quite willingly," she told Tim Burton upon being approached for the role. We can see the fangirl almost jumping out of her. Zeta-Jones has a knack for directors with extremely creative minds that curate worlds far from reality. The possibility of being flexible with her characters in such scenarios is endless, and we're starting to think that maybe Zeta-Jones must have been quite a method actor in some way or the other, although we can't really confirm it. Regardless, signing off on the gamble to work on Burton's Wednesday was a huge blessing that has only pulled in more opportunities. Amidst all the werewolves, sirens, and vampires, Zeta-Jones' rendition of Morticia Addams has stuck out to be the most memorable act of all. What's more, Zeta-Jones credits her daughter for her smooth portrayal as Morticia Addams. If there's anything that made Zeta-Jones the perfect person for this role, it's the fact that she's raised a literal Wednesday Addams of her own, Karis Zeta Douglas, her youngest child. Zeta-Jones candidly talks about how working on Wednesday was a sweet reminder of raising her youngest, because the kid apparently had a phase where she was very similar to Wednesday Addams. The throwback video she posted on Instagram a while ago is pretty solid proof, and we can't deny the uncanny resemblance. It's perfect because the video is of Karis singing a Halloween song of some sort with only a stretched out meow for lyrics, dressed in stripes with eyeliner and giving a killer death stare to a schoolmate. We can't miss the Oscar-winning actress snorting with laughter in the background. This is a situation where we don't know if the video's funnier or her laugh, but it's a pretty endearing video nevertheless. Karis has some serious sass, and we wonder how funny it must have been to raise her. Zeta-Jones has nothing but love for her, captioning the video with a sweet message: "Morticia and I love you, my little rain cloud." There are still a lot of differences between the mother-daughter duos on-screen and off-screen. Jenna Ortega's character is disdained by Morticia's affection and constantly seeks to distance herself from it, but Karis seems super close with Zeta-Jones. It's obvious that Morticia isn't much of a role Zeta-Jones had to act. She just had to be, because there wasn't much of a difference between the two. Finally, Jenna Ortega on working with an experienced actress like Zeta-Jones. Zeta-Jones' presence and experience on set didn't go unnoticed, and Jenna Ortega was clearly a fan who consulted the Oscar winner for guidance and advice. Zeta-Jones grew particularly fond of Ortega herself and holds a lot of admiration for the young actress and her eagerness to hone her craft. Ortega mentions that she initially felt pretty intimidated by Zeta-Jones, which was only amplified when she realized the Oscar winner would be playing her mother's role. It's a lot of pressure, but Zeta-Jones quickly pushed those fears aside and smoothly integrated into the role next to Ortega's Wednesday. When talking about Ortega, Zeta-Jones gushed about her contagious energy and enthusiasm. In fact, it seems as if the actress has been taking note of Ortega's other performances as well, to compare to, noting how she gets better and better with each performance. "I think we all fed off of her positive spirit," she said, which is funny to hear, given Ortega's character has such a subdued and moody personality. It's hard to imagine Ortega smiling and laughing while in costume. Ortega wasn't the only one who won over Zeta-Jones' heart, though. The entire cast and crew became like a second family to her, and she quickly fell in love with the show. She talked lovingly about the sense of community and belonging everyone had with each other on set, and the determination to make Wednesday an amazing show was hard to miss. It's really something when Zeta-Jones herself talks about how talented everyone in the cast and crew was, and we can see how much love she holds for the show. We want to know what you think of Catherine Zeta-Jones' role as Morticia Addams. Was she the perfect pick? Let us know in the comments below. If you like what you see and want to see more content like this, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.